before I get started working on this trailer, if y'all don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button. Be greatly appreciated. Helps the channel out, helps me grow a little bit. And I hope y'all like the video. Thank y'all. Okay, so bear with me. I'm doing voiceover for a portion of this video because I didn't realize the mic wasn't recording or picking up anything. So, with that being said, what I'm working on here is my equipment trailer. This was my pawpaw's trailer. None of the lights, nothing electrically works on this trailer. It's mechanically in pretty decent shape. It's stout. It's hauled a bunch of weight in its life. Before I brought it to the property, I did take all 6 wheels off and repack all the wheel bearings and kind of get an idea of what condition the brakes were in, and they're all completely shot. So in this video we're going to go through redoing all the wiring and rebuilding all the brakes on the trailer, so that way we have a good functioning trailer to haul stuff with. Alright, right here I have my 3 LED lights for the back of the trailer. And then underneath it right here I have the 2 LED pod lights that I ordered to mount as reverse lights or backup lights. These are a set of soldering crimps. I've been wanting to get a set of these for a while. And then right here is the new wiring harness that has a junction box. And then right here are the new brakes that I ordered, a complete for it should be enough to do all 4 wheels or both axles, so to speak. Comes with everything: new pads, new magnets, new hardware. And then right here I have Bunker Industries breakaway system that I ordered to put on the trailer. So I have an electronic breakaway controller. And then right here, these are running lights. They're 7 amber and 7 red. And as you see right here, they are smoked lens lights, which I think will look really good on the trailer, even though it's yellow and rust colored. Really could go for probably a paint job on it. I just need to take these lights and hook them up and see which ones are the amber and which ones are the red, because they are not labeled. So real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and get all these wheels off on this side so I can slide in and out underneath to mount the wiring and make it easier to do what I need to do. So missing all the guts right here. It's supposed to look like this one right here, which has all the parts and pieces. And the pads are very, very thin on these shoes, which is part of the reason why I'm changing everything. So now we're going to work on taking all this stuff apart. So we're going to compare the new pads to the old pads. As you see, I'm going to have to do some modifications here because the old pad has a kind of an oval shaped hole and the new one has just a regular circle. So, and there's a few other differences that I'm going to check out, and the pads all look about the same, a little bit shorter maybe, but the overall shoe length is about the same.
On these old mobile home style axles are technically not serviceable. I'm giving it my best shot to try and change all this, change all these pads and everything. So I thought I was recording a second ago and I wasn't. I had to take the pads and I had to elongate the hole right here so that way it sits on here and it moves like it's supposed to. So I got that done. Now they're cut. The plate back on and hammer those rivets on and see if I can get all of that to stay in place. What I did was I took the old shoe and I cut down here and I cut a big piece of it off so I can line it up and center it up over that the new hole. Let me pop this back off. I want to make sure this spring is going to fit on here. Yeah, that ain't going to work. I think that's the only one that's going to stay on, really. So what that means for me is we're going to have to, because these springs will fit snugly around that. So this one's the only one that isn't messed up. Alright, so that one will stay on. What I'm going to have to do for these other ones, I get the spring back off. Because I'm going to have to center punch them and drill them out to take these little deals, come in from the back and kind of clip them on here. It's only got enough to do in each set to do 2, so I'm gonna have to try and save one of these rivets off each one. And I may have to drill a couple holes for the springs as well. All right, let me get my drill and some drill bits. One set of final holes to drill. I got to drill some here. Spring to grab. I'm about to leave a piece off. Time to make this little on. Should be able to hold these springs on here. See what I got laying around. Back to these. for a spacer on the back. Because I'm about to take up a little bit of room. I think I got some washers I can stack on it maybe. Not ideal by any means, but it'll work. And what I may end up doing is I'll come back and drill these out another time and tap them. I'll just drill them out maybe put double bolt through there or something. See if I can get this one back out. All right, I'm gonna stack some washers on it. All right, that's all together. I got this one wash. Where'd I put it at? The one washer that's actually staying on every time I do. Where did it go? And it's this one. You go the other way with it. Maybe I can push it. Put this magnet spring on, put the magnet on, and then other than needing to rob parts off the back, we'll be done pretty much with this wheel. I'm gonna move to the back. I'm gonna take that back axle apart so I can rob the brake pieces out of it. So I can have the plates for that axle. I'm about to take both sides apart so I can get the spring that holds the shoes together. And I'm gonna have to figure out something about these magnets. I didn't realize how small the hole is for these magnets compared to what was on there, right? That's a considerable difference in size. Took this wheel off and found out this is a totally different design brake. All right, the shoes just slip in on them ears right behind here, and a spring held them in place. So, but I was able to steal the spring and use it. Hopefully it works. It's in the holes that I drilled. And I also had to take the pads back off, and this little angled ear right here, I had to cut it off down here where it slips into these slots because it would not let the wheel slip on back onto its spindle. I also had to take, it's kind of hard to see, you probably can't see it all. The little ear that this magnet sits on, I was talking about the size difference. I just took my burr grinder and I kind of shaved it down just a little bit. I mean, you're talking maybe a 16th of an inch difference. So that's on there. And yeah, I flipped these around as I figured the springs maybe stuck out too far. I was worried it hit the inside of this housing because you don't have a ton of room in here. So that's one done. But oh, I can't do this one because I don't have parts to rob off the axle like I thought I was going to. So we're just going to shoot for having one braking axle for now. Family's want me to cook dinner tonight, so they want breakfast for dinner. So I'm the breakfast guy, so I gotta go cook in a minute. But I want to try and knock out one more thing for the set today. I want to get that new wiring harness stretched out and support it. So that way that's done and out the way, and I don't have to crawl under the trailer again. As I tell you right now, there's no telling what's under there, especially been sitting out in the yard out here. Spiders out here take over everything. It's absolutely atrociously terrible. Like, I didn't see it earlier when I rolled the door open, but there was a spider like that big around on the roll-up door. I don't know how I didn't see him. I don't know if he was tucked in there and I rolled up and he crawled out or what, but And the amount of spiders when I brought both of these vehicles in here or when I bought the RSX in here after it's sitting in the grass, it's just I need to put some insect killer out in the yard so these spiders will go away a little bit. But anyways, I think I went over this, but this is where we stand at with the brakes. Hopefully, I'll be able to do just this front axle. I know this side is gutted. I don't know if that one over there is gutted. If it ain't, I'm going to try and put the brakes in that one. Now I have at least 3 working braking wheels. I don't know if that's a good thing to have 3 out of 4. I think that's better than none. Hell, even just having this one side would be better. This one whole axle right here would be better than none. I'm excited to see if it works once I get all the wiring harness ran and hooked up. Let me get a broom and sweep up all these metal shavings right here so I don't accidentally lay in metal shavings. And then we will crawl under here and take a look at what we're working with. So there's the old harness. And it looks like it's just held in with staples every so often, which I got something better than staples. So let me look at they used to have it zip tied up and that fell down. But we'll mount it to the frame. I got some clips and some self-tapping screws that we can use. I get some cutters. I'm gonna cut these staples off real quick. I went underneath. The staples didn't cut, but I was using a pair of pliers like this. I just pulled them out. That's a pair of cable cutters. I didn't know if it was gonna just come out willingly or what. I didn't cut something somewhere. Oh, I forgot to cut this other brake. Something came in here just flying around me. Snip and snip. There we go. It's got a tube that runs in right here that I gotta get it out of. Runs right inside the frame rail. Comes out over here. Got the new harness. But looking at it, I don't think we're going to be able to run it through that tube. So, which will be fine. We'll run it down the frame rail and I will get some clips and some self-tapping screws and we'll secure it to the frame that way. I got these big ones. I think we should be good with these 1/2 inch ones right here. 1/2 inch. And probably be fine with the smaller self-tapping screws. The 3/4 inch with the 5/16 hex. I'm hoping this works the way I'm thinking it will work. And we could just kind of do like that. Put several of these down through here with a little self-tapping screw. And whatever sticks out on the outside, if it does stick through, I'll just I'll cut it off.
What'd you do?
Well, it helps if you don't break the screw head off. Note to self, go a little easier. Actually, you know what? Let's set the clutch on this thing. Let's set it to like 12 or something. Let's don't mess with the clutch too much. Let's see if we can't drill that screw out since we got a hole there. Nope, that ain't working. Let me try something. It's sticking out. Oh, that's actually working. Aha! Use the chuck on the drill to grab the other end. All right, now we're in business. All right, there's one. So I got the little junction box mounted, as well as I got all the little clips holding the wire up. And I think I got enough slack out there by the trailer ball for the connection at the truck. But I'm gonna call it quits for today. I need to go inside and cook dinner. I'm covered in grease and metal shavings. Like, I'm filthy. I gotta go inside, take a shower before I do anything. Hell, I even got grease in my hair right now because I touched the freaking axle with my head trying to wiggle in and out of this little hole right here. We'll pick up on this in the morning. Got the old shop cat. Anyways, next day, a new day. Before I get started back on the trailer, yeah, I just want to make sure it was on. Before I get started back on the trailer, look at this dude. He's just following me around. Wow. Anyways, before I get started back on the trailer, I got some ribs I need to go prep to throw on the smoker because they're going to take a little while to cook. I got my smoker warming up. By request, I'm going to go inside and I'm going to prep these ribs with y'all. Show y'all a little bit of my cooking I do. So, buddy, hope you enjoy this.
Alright, so what I got here is some pork ribs that I'm going to prep for the smoker. First thing I'm going to do though is cut off anything that I think is going to burn or become dry. So we're going to cut off this flap here. I'm going to do the same thing on the other rack of ribs. And any little excess pieces of fat that I feel like are going to just, you know, just be a pain or not taste good later. And then we're going to find the edge and we're going to cut off this really thin piece, mainly that last bone or last two bones right there. Just go ahead and lob that off. I like to save a lot of this meat for later and use it for things like ground meat and sausage and stuff. So I'm probably going to throw it in the freezer. So that one's good. Now I'm going to go back to the other one and trim. Let's do the same thing, trim that last little bit off so that way I don't have this thin piece that, you know, ultimately all that's going to do is dry out. And you don't want anything like that on there when you go to eat it because no one wants to eat dry, tough ribs. So just a little makes everything better, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this butter knife, I'm gonna stick it underneath this membrane right here on top of the bone, and I'm gonna start working on trying to peel that membrane off. As you see, it just lifts up like that, starts peeling up. Sometimes they fight you, sometimes they peel off easily. This one looks like it's probably just gonna fight the whole time. And this is something I saw on the internet that I forgot about. On a cooking video, a guy used paper towels to grab the membrane and it helped peel it off because it wasn't slipping out of your hand. So now that I have both membranes peeled off, go ahead and coat this with a little bit of avocado oil. I know like some people like to use mustard and things as a binder, but I just find using a neutral oil with whatever seasoning I'm using gives me a really good flavor and gives me a really good smoke penetration in the meat. And I like to use this Cosmos Dirty Bird Hot seasoning on ribs and pork. And don't be scared to put that stuff on there and thick like that. Like, it's not gonna hurt it. Just pat it in. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to the other one and then flip them. Now I'm gonna repeat the process basically, coat a little oil on them and then season them up with that Dirty Bird Hot and they'll be ready to go on the smoker. I like to get the edges really well. Running about 222.
All right, now that we got the ribs on here, we're gonna let them go for about 4 hours, 3-4 hours, and then I'll wrap them after that. I like to do like a hybrid of a 3-2-1 method. It's kind of like I like the color, I wrap them, and I take them off for maybe like 15, 20 minutes, just to firm them back up a little bit, so that way they're not just falling apart like pulled pork. We gotta get this thing semi done so I can get this thing out of the shop for this weekend and park back in the yard because I got to be able to close this door and drive that to work. I got the wiring harness ran yesterday. That's where we left off. This brake assembly is done, hopefully. I'm pretty sure all that'll work. I think what I'm gonna work on next is changing out the 3 rear lights and changing out the 2 side markers that are here already and adding the new side marker lights. I just need to figure out which set of these. I think it's a split between amber and red. To figure out what's what and figure out where I want to put them. Also, need to mount those and figure out how and where I want to mount these bad boys. Oh, that's the breakaway system. Where I want to mount these. And these things, the reviews were really good on them from what I saw, and they look super freaking bright. Let's first thing first. Let's figure out the color of these lights right here. So there's no markings on either box. I double checked. There's no way to look at the light. They don't have them labeled or anything showing if they're red or amber. So the only logical thing I could think of, we're gonna use the battery and the prelude real quick. All right, so that's amber. All right, I'm hoping these boxes aren't mixed because that means I'm gonna have to test every one of these. Oh, that's red. That's bright. All right, so now we know which ones are red and which ones aren't. Red. And I'm gonna right up here. Hopefully these boxes are not mixed, but I don't think they are. I think it's red and amber because they're 7 and 7. I think I got it figured out where I want all the lights at. I have one extra. I don't know why it's 7 and 7. I wish the packs were 8. I don't need all the reds. I can always add some red ones down the side too. But anyways, so I'm obviously gonna have one and one right here to replace those. I figured one right here by this piece of channel iron on each side, and then these back here near this, or right underneath the chain, kind of. I feel like that's a good layout for these lights. I like how they're spaced out for the most part. I wish the kit it was 8 lights instead of 7, because I could definitely go for 2 more, or more or less to the back, right? I could put one on this side of that D-ring on the back, and then put one closer to the other piece of channel iron farther back. I think I'm gonna take care of the easier ones first. Let's change out the 3 the 3 tail lights in the back with these. Let's go change these out. I think the best thing is to cut all this off back here. I'm just throwing wrenches at y'all. How about that? What y'all think about that? Out with the crusty one. Yeah, well, maybe let me cut all this electrical. Cut the rest of the cord off the back. Now we can take it out. Well, that thing had a little clear underneath it for the license plate. Like the ones I bought do not have that, but it doesn't matter because they're in this sealed piece of pipe. Oh yeah, look at how much nicer that is. I'm gonna use the old nuts because these came with like lock washers. The other ones are like the lock nut style with the washer made onto them. See how these got like a washer, a little teeth on it. Plus the way these holes are made on the back of this piece of pipe, these sit better than the new ones. All right, now I just got to do that 2 more times. Those look really, really good. I can't wait to see all these lights lit up once we get it all wired in and done, because nothing worked before. And I think partially it was because the harness was shot, right? And probably all the lights are probably shot. They're old. They're like from the 80's, right? And probably ain't not one of them worked anyways. What I'm working on now, I think I'm gonna hang the light bars. So this took me a little bit to figure out, but I think I'm gonna mount it right here. I'm gonna angle them like that, so where the light shines out like that on each side. I tossed around a bunch of different things. I was looking at trying to mount it maybe on the side over here to like this leaf spring perch. This would ultimately be the best spot right there. Looks pretty good. I like the angle that it's sitting at. It's gonna shine out in the corner like I want. Now I just gotta do the other side. All of these new lights got it looking really good back here. This thing needs a good pressure wash and probably a new paint job. But I ain't too worried about paint. We definitely could give it a good wash though when we're done. Now we can move on to mounting all the side marker lights. And get my little screwdriver. What did I do with him? I left it under here. Of course, nothing on here has to be easy. These are riveted on here. Okay. Got one side done. I like the placement with these where they're at, and I didn't realize it. That's a piece of a rivet, and the wires are going through the other rivet hole. There used to be lights back here, which is handy because, well, it gave me a good spot to run the wires, and it gave me a good spot to locate for this light, which I like the fact that, I felt like it was a really good spot because at first I was like, I'm gonna put it directly under this chain, and then I saw that, I was like, that's even better. I like it back there. So now it's onward to the other side. Gotta do this 3 more times. I got all the lights mounted where I want them. Everything is looking really good with all the new lights everywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the cover back on the little junction box that was on the end of the main harness, and so that way it's sealed up, and throw these 3 wheels back on, and then I'm gonna do the brakes on the other side. My goal today is to get everything mounted where I want it at on the trailer. So I'm not far from done. The last thing I gotta mount on the trailer is this breakaway system. I think I'm gonna mount it. Thought about mounting it right here on the side. I need to cut this off up. You can't blame old timers for just using the stuff they have laying around, right? Like he built this toolbox. You can tell this is like homemade. You ain't buying something like that. And got all this really flimsy looking angle iron everywhere. I wanted to try and mount it over here, but it's not gonna sit right because of how the plates are in here for the gussets. Oh yeah, they look good. They've been on here about 4 hours. Let's get them off of here. And if you're wondering about the big spatula, it's for pork butts. I found it at Academy, and I love this thing. It works great for getting just about anything off this pit. So I usually put brown sugar down on my foil. Well, I've been using this lately. A buddy of mine gave me this, and it works really well. So this is what I've been using. Brown sugar, and I like to use this rib glaze on top of the sugar. Now the ribs are back on the smoker. I'm gonna let them go for about 2 more hours, and then I'll throw them back on for about 20 minutes just to fire them back up and get dry, a little bit dried out on the outside, but they're still super moist on the inside. Because I don't want them falling apart, right? Essentially, I cut a piece off of the old brake shoe, so I had something to go off of. You can see it's pretty centered right there. Now the only thing I did do different, so mark that, I did slide this hole out a little bit right here. That's that's the hole I drilled for the spring, and I did cut that ear off right there. It's been about 2 hours now. Let's take these things out.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
You got a nice smoke ring, nice and juicy. All right, this is all I have time for today. It's getting late. I'm gonna get everything picked up and cleaned up in here and get this thing out of here. And I'm heading inside. We'll reconvene on this next weekend. All right, what's going on? So last weekend I didn't get a chance to work on the trailer. Typical life stuff. Other priorities took precedence. So today we're gonna get this thing back in the shop. so we can finish wiring in all the lights and the brakes. Give me a minute and let me go get my truck and get this thing in the shop and on jack stands, and I'll get back with y'all in a minute. So we got it on the jack stands, we got the wheels off. I actually jacked up quite a bit higher than I did last time, so I should be able to slide under here a lot easier than I did last time. Trust me, I struggled getting under there last time. It was not fun. So let me show y'all what I got right here. This is a pack of wire that I bought off Amazon. This is 12 gauge wire, various colors, and it's like 50 foot on a roll, I believe. I believe it was like 50 bucks for this whole pack, if I remember right. Which I don't think is really a bad deal for a whole bunch of wire. So I've been messing with this for a little while now, and I got all the running lights wired up. I got the tail lights wired up, blinkers. The reverse pods are all wired up. I've been function testing and stuff as I go. The only thing I haven't been able, there's two things I haven't been able to figure out yet, and that's the pods aren't turning on. I'm thinking I may have to ground them closer to where they're at, maybe, because I got them wired in with a big long ground wire going back to that control box. The other thing is that, well, I guess there's three things. The center tail light doesn't come on with the brake lights for some reason, and the tail lights don't light up with the headlights being on the truck. So right now I'm trying to figure those three things out. I still have to wire up the brakes and the brake controller, but I gotta go get cleaned up in a second to go somewhere. But let me show y'all. So they light up. So as you can see, the middle one's not coming on with the brake lights, because right now I got a stick holding my brake pedal down, and I'll go throw it in reverse and show y'all about these pods not turning on. Right now I got the emergency flashes on, so you can see that's working, and you can see all the side markers are working on the trailer. That's kind of where I stand at with that. I did have one issue earlier that's kind of like was brain boggling a little bit, and I wasn't getting like any power to a lot of stuff. And what I ended up having to do was I got that junction box underneath, and I ended up having to just I had to add a ground wire coming from the junction box to the frame right outside the junction box. It going back to the truck, that wasn't a good enough ground. I had to provide another ground. I'm thinking that's probably going to be the same case with these reverse lights right here. And I'm wondering if that middle light is having the same issue. It's just not getting a good enough ground, maybe. I came out here because I ain't got a ton of battery, and I decided to do a little troubleshooting. I undid my solder crimps for these sets of wires, and this is what I kind of came up with last night that I thought I needed to do. That I needed, because the black is your low power and your red is your higher power. So this should be your blinker and your stop. And this one should be your just power. Off this yellow wire, it says left turn signal on the box, but it's also your brake signal from your pedal. Yeah, I got this figured out now. So I just got to redo the right-hand side to match this side. And I should be golden there, and the only thing I have left to do is wire up the brake on that axle. I might wire up the brake on that axle. I have brakes in that one. Actually, I take that back. I can't wire that one up. It doesn't have a magnet. So for whatever reason, that kit that I bought, I went back and looked at it. It comes with 2 sets of everything, enough to do 2 braking axles. And for whatever reason, it didn't come, or either that or I've misplaced them, the other set of magnets. Right. So I got my trailer brake wires all hooked up. They are running with the axle tube. I tried to use the wires that were running in the axle tube to pull them through, and that did not work. So yeah,
they run alongside of the axle tube now. Anyways, on to the other things. As you can see, we got, I don't know what we got here. This is the label. You got ground, battery, backup, left turn, tail light, right turn, brakes. You see how that's confusing? Where it says tail light, it just should say like tail light, running light. Like, what the hell? Anyway, besides the point. Got everything hooked up in here. Got the extra ground I talked about before right here. And the only thing I got left to do is go down through this monstrosity and put some zip ties on stuff and kind of like pull some of the slack out of this and, tidy it up so it's not hanging real low. The only thing left to check out and figure out are the backup lights. They don't come on. Does anybody else hate laying on a creeper? I sure as hell do. Oh, I forgot. I gotta hook this thing up too. Oops. Forgot about the controller. I might want that. Breakaway box. Temporarily mounted with some zip ties. I got it all wired in. And I got the breakaway cable, which I'm just gonna shove the cable down there for now. But I got the little breakaway thing right here mounted. So I ran the wires. And then I just tied it into the hot right here. And I ran me a blue wire for the brake all the way to the junction box. Y'all saw the junction box before, but there it is. And I added a few zip ties to try and tidy things up a little bit. It's kind of hard to tell under here, but everything's not sagging nearly as bad as it was. It's up tight, so I'm happy with it. And as of right now, the only thing left to figure out, well, obviously I don't know exactly if the brakes work. Like, I put the wheel back on and pump the brakes, hit my trailer brake controller in the truck. The only thing left I have to figure out are these reverse lights that I added to the trailer, these pods. So, yeah. Okay, I had a late start getting out here today. It's well after lunch. We're doing some cleaning in the house and had some birthday parties to go to for some nieces and nephews. So I decided last night that I was gonna bring my wife's truck over here and hook up to the trailer to troubleshoot this reverse light issue, because I feel like they're wired up right. And I was like, man, let's see why we're not getting voltage, figure this out. Well, I got the truck right here. It's hooked up. Threw it in reverse and put the parking brake on. I come in here and the freaking lights are on. So it must just be my plug on the back of my truck keeping them from working. I'd say that I got some light coming in from the door because I can't shut it. But I will say I think they're going to be very bright at night when backing this trailer into place, wherever I put it at. Obviously, I don't have to do anything else to that. Those reverse lights are good, the blinkers work, tail lights work, all the running lights come on. I can throw the wheels back on it now, and we get this thing out of the shop, because I'm about tired of it being in here. Okay, so before I conclude this video on the trailer, I just wanted to do one test real quick. I went and got my wife's truck over here. The test is, so when I hook the trailer harness up to her truck, the reverse lights work, right? They don't work when it's hooked up to my truck. Both of them have 7-pin connectors. Mine's not a Ford connector. Someone's done replaced it at some point. It was an aftermarket connector. Hers still has the factory Ford stuff on it. Also, mine keeps throwing a trailer fault whenever you plug the trailer in. I don't think it's anything on the trailer. Everything's new. All the grounds are new.
think everything's 100% good here because I think her trailer, I think her truck recognizes the trailer. So I'm about to plug it back in and test it out real quick. So I can do this one-handed. Obviously that proves the hunch I was having that I have an issue with the wiring harness on my truck. If this truck is recognizing the trailer and I can adjust the gain on the brakes. So I'll have to do some digging to figure out what's up with mine and why I can't use the brakes. Anyways, hey, if you're wondering why I'm sinking a bunch of money in this trailer, so this trailer's been in my family a long time. This was my pawpaw's trailer. He hauled all kinds of stuff on it. Stuff that he probably should never even put on it. That was so heavy. That's why he added the 4th axle under there. You know, I know there's probably a lot of people like, oh man, just go buy a new trailer. Don't mess with that thing. Let me tell you, newer ain't always better. Granted, I ain't got a whole lot to work with here. I got an old ass triple axle trailer that's wore out. I get it. And I plan on changing the axles out myself eventually. And there's some other things I want to change out. Like I would like to go take this all off and get a new wood deck put on it. And I need to get this winch working or check it out and see if it works. And anyways, there's other things I got to do, but old iron is usually a lot better than these newer flimsier trailers that they got out there now. So if you enjoyed the video, it'd be greatly appreciated if you hit that like and subscribe button. It'll go a long way, and hopefully by the end of the year we'll maybe hit 100 subscribers, maybe 200 subscribers. The end of the year is coming pretty quickly, so 100 would be great. I think we're at 80 right now, 79 or 80. But anyways, thank y'all for watching.